I just finished a segment talking about how Democrats are more obsessed with Trump's orange face than what he's actually doing as president, and how that's their focus. And now I have another glorious story for you. Another reason why Democrats can't stop losing is that they're so thin-skinned, they get triggered by Donald Trump's speech at the State of the Union. I'm not exaggerating, but I wish I was. From the Daily Mail. Rashida Tlaib says she clutched fellow squad member Ilhan Omar's hand through, quote, triggering moments in Trump's State of the Union, including the applause for cancer-stricken Rush Limbaugh when he got the Medal of Freedom. I almost fell out of my seat when I read this, and I started laughing. It brought a weakness, the humor and rage and confusion all at the same time. Are you joking? You are so frail. You couldn't watch the State of the Union? You know what, man? Maybe I'm biased. Maybe the reason I'm able to listen to words without panicking is that I've actually been in conflict situations, or maybe that I grew up on the south side of Chicago where you actually have to deal with, crime and gangs and stuff. Maybe they've never experienced that. Oh, wait. Ilhan Omar likes to talk all the time about how she's a refugee who came from a war-torn country. So, okay, fine. It was Rashida Tlaib who was clutching her hand due to triggering moments. But I'm very confused as to how you can go through these things and be triggered simply by Trump's words. Something is wrong. Trump derangement syndrome is real. And this is terrifying. We cannot have people in government who panic over words. I mean, depends on the words, let's be honest. If the words from Trump were like, I'm declaring nuclear war, okay, I might panic by those words. That might be a little concerning. But I probably wouldn't get anxiety and clutch my pearls or someone's hand shaking, terrified. I'd be like, okay, it's time to act. That's what we need in political leaders. People who don't immediately freak out when someone says a word. Listen, if someone walked into a room with a weapon, started shrieking and doing crazy stuff, I wouldn't blame you if you panicked. If there was a fire in a building, I wouldn't blame you if you panicked. But when we want to elect leaders, we need people who don't panic, but who keep a cool head to protect us and save us. The last thing we need is sheer panic. This is panic. And I got to tell you, man, how many videos have I made in the past week? Like 7? Democrats panic. Here we go. Rashida Tlaib panics over triggering moments of Donald Trump's speech. Daily Mail reports. Rashida Tlaib said on Friday that she held colleague Ilhan Omar's hand during I kid you not, it's literally a quote, triggering moments of Trump's State of the Union speech, and that she walked out when Rush Limbaugh was awarded the Medal of Freedom. It was a huge struggle for me because I don't think people realize it's worse when you're actually there. What do you mean worse? What? The congresswoman from Michigan said on Friday during a panel discussion with Omar. Turning to Omar, Tlaib said there were moments of triggering and I kept holding your hand and we intentionally sat next to each other to support each other. This is who you've elected. You deserve the leaders you get. You all do. And that includes Trump and Omar. You want the orange guy with the crazy hair who talks like a jerk? Fine. You want the crazy lady sitting around clutching pearls and clutching hands, terrified of the orange man's words? That's your choice. Now, here's what I've said before. The only real thing I can say is when it comes to Pelosi tearing up the speech or this ridiculous moment, at least Trump made the economy better. What else am I supposed to say? But hey, I'm not saying don't pick who you want. I'm just saying you get the politicians you vote for. And like I mentioned in the past segment, the Trump supporters love the self-deprecating humor of Trump. You're not going to get them down by making fun of Trump for a silly photograph. They use the photo in their own memes to support him. You can't do it. They know they can diffuse your power by doing this. On the other side, though, you're freaking out because Trump's giving his annual speech. The Democrats are hopeless, man. Tlaib Omar, the Somali-American congresswoman from Minnesota, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Anna Presley are the squad. Yes, we know that. Trump and his supporters in the Republican Party have attacked the squad, accusing them of holding anti-Semitic views. Yeah, I wouldn't call it an attack. I would call it a statement of fact. Cortez, the representative of New York's 14th district, and Presley of Massachusetts' 7th, boycotted the State of Union in protest of Trump's policies. But Tlaib, who is of Palestinian Arab origin, and Omar, the Somali-born refugee, decided to attend while wearing ethnically traditional outfits as an act of defiance. Defiance to what? To what? I'm joining my sisters in Congress in wearing white. My white Palestinian thobe to Sotu. Tlaib tweeted on Tuesday before Trump's address to the nation. A thobe is an ankle-length garment with sleeves that is worn primarily in Middle Eastern countries. White is also the color of the women's suffrage movement. Female Democrats in Congress wore white as a way to honor the movement that fought for women's rights to vote. Tlaib added in her tweet, "Being unapologetically me is my way of protesting this impeached president." You mean acquitted president. The whole thing was a failure. You know what's funny is that they still don't seem to understand what impeachment means. Like, I think it was Marco Rubio who said, even though what Trump did is impeachable, it's not removable. And they were like, so he admits Trump did it but won't convict him? And I'm just like, oh, geez, dude, listen. Impeachment and removal are two different things. Trump already was impeached. What he's saying is you've indicted the man, but you don't have enough to convict the man. You see the difference? These people have no strategic power. Omar also tweeted on Tuesday in response to Tlaib writing, "Yes, sis, our presence is resistance. I am wearing my Ayillo's Cambur Garbid and bringing the Arwelo spirit to the people's house." Ayillo is the Somali word for grandmother. Tlaib and Omar appeared in a panel featuring the other two members of the squad at Howard University in Washington, D.C. on Friday. Tlaib said that she remained seated during the speech, but decided to leave when the president announced that Limbaugh, the conservative radio host, would receive the Medal of Freedom. Let me tell you something. I've never been a big fan of Rush Limbaugh. Absolutely not. But he represents something to a lot of people in this country, and not everyone who wins the Medal of Freedom is going to be someone you personally like. But to at least 63 million, maybe less, because conservatives make up around 30, independents around 30, and Democrats around like 23 or whatever percent of the country. To conservatives and Republicans, to the 30, 40, million or so people, Rush Limbaugh is an icon who launched conservative talk radio, and he's been a staple of their conversation for a long time, for better or for worse. Now, while I may not be a fan of the guy, you got to be nuts to want to disrespect somebody who's got lung cancer and they're dying. You don't like what they've done? You know what, man? I feel like I'm in this awkward civility bubble because I certainly see it on the fringes of every political faction that they want civility in one direction but not the other. They want it for their people and they get it but not the other. I'll tell you what. If you deserve it, you deserve it, okay? If somebody is sick and dying, I'm not going to laugh and mock and wish for harm for anybody. You know why? Because I think life is valuable. Rush Limbaugh contributed amazing. I don't mean in a positive sense. I mean like of great magnitude to our culture and country. And you might not like it. And that's too bad. Because guess what? Your icons contribute in very much in the same way that conservatives don't like. That's what I can never get past. This unwillingness to recognize that other people view the world differently. Here's what I can see. There's someone that I've never been a fan of. I admittedly haven't listened to a lot of, but just never been in my sphere. And it was sad to hear that Rush had advanced lung cancer. Do you want to know what the main experience I've had with Rush Limbaugh is? Family Guy. Because he appeared on the show, I think a couple times, and it was funny, and he made fun of himself. And I respect that. We don't always agree with each other, and we're not always correct, but I can respect the civility, especially considering Seth MacFarlane is like a diehard Democrat. So now I hear that somebody that means a lot to a lot of people who may be bad in a lot of ways for certain political ideas, he's got advanced lung cancer. It may be that he's not long for this world. And he was given the Medal of Freedom, which my understanding is for civilians. And what ends up happening? They all complain. They're triggered. They refuse. They leave. Grow up, man. Grow up. Rush Limbaugh is famous and successful for a reason. People like the guy. You don't win points by throwing a hissy fit, cheering for his ailments, and walking out, oh, harumph, I say. You win by challenging the ideas to their faces. Now, look, again, I can't say too much about, Rush because I don't know a whole lot about him. But I'm going to, the last thing I want to do, I think there's very few evil people relative to the bulk of humanity. Most people in this country are good people. Some are misguided people. And a few are actually evil in many different ways. I don't think Rush is evil. I think he's just a guy who's very opinionated and who works really hard and maybe made a lot of mistakes in certain things he believed, certainly smoking cigars a lot. I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean some things we should recognize. And now he's got lung cancer, and I'm sad to hear it, and I hope he recovers. I really do. But it's shocking to me that these people have absolutely no respect for the people of this country, and that's what's scary to me. That many of these people would cheer in celebration of his ailment. that many people would refuse to respect or honor somebody of that, influence. The most important thing I can tell you is, even if you don't like the guy and you think he's pure evil, if you want to win over his base, you don't do it by slinging mud, insulting them, or screeching that you're triggered. You do it by asking questions, Socratic method, by engaging with people and respecting them. Just because they don't know what you know doesn't mean they're stupid. It means you've been exposed to different information. And it's very likely they know things you don't too. Don't be arrogant. You need to actually listen to people. And it may turn out you're the smartest person in the room. That's fine. But I'll tell you this. It doesn't matter if you're the smartest person in the room if you're a bad person, because nobody's going to listen to you, even if you have the right answers, if you're mean. I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment will be up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Podcast every day at 6:30 p.m. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all next.